Hello my people, I want to welcome each and every one of you back to this my channel again. For a very long time now, I've been very much absent from this place, and this is a channel where we usually bring to you all the basic concepts of mathematics, trying to bring most of your mathematical problems and give solution to them. But I know for the absence, it seems like we have stopped all we've been doing here, but just to cut the whole long story short, I am back, and now I am fully back here because the gods are wise. Now, this is still me, Michael, that's your online mathematics tutor. And this time around, we are going to be taking this as a school of its own, whereby we are going to start from the basic concepts of mathematics up to any level of it. And what you just have to do for us is follow us gradually without missing any of our videos, without missing any of the steps we are going to be taking towards putting you through the right directions of you being that guru you are meant to be in mathematics and going for any mathematics exam without having any fear or anything to panic about. All right? Now, I know that many of you, most of the things we are going to be presenting to you here are things you are already aware of. Yes. But then, that is not to say that you don't need our videos or all the things that we are going to be talking about. Just see it as we taking you through the memory lane and just refresh your memory. You can share it to your friends, to your loved ones, and to anyone that you need to share it to. We have talked so long on this. Let us begin immediately. And today we are going to be talking about the concept of numbers. The concept of numbers. I know many of you will be wondering, what am I about saying concerning numbers? Now, numbers, of course, we know, is just used to measure quantities. All right? Now, we have different types of numbers, or what we may call the family of numbers. That is what we want to really look into now. Now, we have the first one, which we call the natural numbers. Many persons will be asking now, which one is natural numbers again? But then, numbers, there is no number that is artificial, even though it's men that created numbers. Of course, the maker of the world doesn't deal with numbers. He only are natural numbers. We say that natural numbers are counting numbers. And what do we mean by that? They are those numbers that we apply whenever we are doing counting. For example, in reality, when you want to count the number of people, of course, we all should be aware of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So when you want to count the number of people in a particular organization or in a particular gathering, you start from the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And you should be aware that there is no way in counting of people you are starting from 0. Of course, I don't think you are the one that will accept to answer 0. Maybe in counting, somebody counts you 0, 1. That means you don't exist. Yes, counting you as 0 means you are automatically worthless. But we say that natural numbers are those numbers that we use for counting. They are just whole numbers. They are not decimal numbers or fractions. Of course, in counting of real items or countable items that we can easily determine their numbers, we cannot not start counting. We count maybe persons, for example. We count this 1, 1.5, or 1.2, 1.7, 2. No, such thing is not possible in the counting of or in real counting. Or natural numbers include numbers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so the counting continues till infinity. Please note, this sign is what we call infinity in mathematics. We use it to represent infinity. So natural numbers include from the number 1 down to infinity, because numbers are countless. That is the infinity part of it. Going forward, another type of number, or in that family of numbers, we have another one that we call integers. Please, natural numbers are denoted by the letter n, but integers are denoted by the letter z. Now, we say that integers are whole numbers. Natural numbers are included. All natural numbers are also integers. So integers, of course, after the whole thing, after analyzing all the family of numbers, I will link them as they follow each other, because from natural numbers goes to integers. It's just like the genealogy of numbers. This one gave birth to this one gave birth to this, and so it continues. So integers gave birth to natural numbers. Now, there is still another one that gave birth to integers, which we'll also talk about. But now, talking about integers, we say that integers are whole numbers. The natural numbers inclusive. But the difference now in these whole numbers, or in these integers, is that the integers include the negative whole numbers and the positive whole numbers. Of course, numbers goes from the negative to the positive. Integers will include the negative and the positive whole numbers. Now, you know that in counting of numbers, numbers moves from the negative numbers are countless, just as the positive numbers are also countless. Now, counting from the negative side, we can start from a negative infinity. Negative infinity. Going forward, please, whenever you see this sign, it means that there is more before whatever we are going to write. We call this sign in ellipsis. Yeah, I think that's what it is called. So now, counting from the negative infinity, which is the countless negative numbers, down to, maybe I can continue counting from -5, -4, -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and it will continue till positive infinity. It will continue till positive infinity, which means as I continue counting from the negative side to the positive side, there is countless negative numbers and there is also countless positive numbers. That is, we cannot determine where number ends. All right? Then, these are integers. From here, you can see that the integers are being separated into two parts, where we have the negative parts and with negative integers. And these negative integers are represented using the letter Z, which we use to represent integers, but now with a superscript minus. That is the letter Z with a superscript, a negative superscript. And these ones are the positive integers. The positive integers, which are also the natural numbers. The positive integers, represented by the letter Z. Of course, anything about integers are being represented with the letter Z, but now with a positive superscript. You can see that 0 is now in between. 0 is neutral. You cannot say that 0 is positive. You cannot really say that it is negative. So 0 is in between the two. That is why we didn't just, if not for this 0, natural numbers are also positive integers, but they do not include 0. So when I want to count positive integers, I will include 0. And when I want to count negative integers, I can include 0. But natural numbers do not include 0. Now, this is about integers. We're going to be looking into the next one, which we call rational numbers. Now, these rational numbers are denoted by the letter Q. Denoted by the letter Q. Now, we say that rational numbers are numbers that can be written in the form P all over Q, where we say that where Q, the denominator, must not be equal to 0. Please note this. Whenever you see this sign, whenever we write the equality sign in mathematics and we cross it, it means not equal to. But when we write the equality sign without crossing it, it means equal to. Alright? I believe that is clear. Now, P all over Q is used to denote the rational numbers, where the denominator Q must not be equal to 0. And what happens when the denominator Q becomes 0? If it becomes 0, just like, of course, the P and Q represent all integers. Now, for example, if Q should be 0, we have P all over 0. That will give us an undetermined answer. The answer will be undetermined. There will be no solution to this. There will be Q must not be equal to 0. So we can now summarize by saying that rational numbers are numbers. They are numbers that can be expressed in the form of fractions, where the denominator of the fraction must not be equal to 0. But that is not all about rational numbers. There are most other important things to know about rational numbers. Number one, rational numbers are definite. They do not run infinitely. When they easily have an end, you call them rational numbers. Of course, I said all integers are rational numbers. So all those integers that we discussed about, count them in. They are all rational numbers. Now, one of the things I said about rational numbers now is that rational numbers usually have an end. Their decimal part usually have an end. For example, 0.25 is a rational number because this is where it ends. This is where it ends. Another one, maybe 1.760. If it ends here, this is a rational number. So any number that their decimal has an end, that is when converting from fraction to decimal, they are definite. They don't run infinitely. They are called what? Rational numbers. Another thing about them that we need to note, very important, is that their decimal part usually have a repeated pattern. For example, 0.3333 and so on, repeating this digit 3 without interchanging it shows that this is a rational number because the decimal part has been repeated. So another one, we have something like 0.25252525. Now, if the decimal part repeats two different digits, they are also rational numbers. Another form of it is if we have something like maybe three digits repeated, you may have something like 1.625, and so it continues. These three digits, 625, has been repeated non-stop. Then this is also a rational number. So this is what we use to know rational numbers. Please don't forget, we say that all integers are also rational numbers. Then the opposite of it that we are going to be talking about are irrational numbers. And we are going to be talking about that in the next video in order to make this easy to comprehend. All right? So please, do not forget, you like, share, and come back to this place as we continue the discussion about numbers and many more interesting things that we are going to be bringing up here. I remain your online mathematics tutor, Michael, and until our next video that will be coming soon here, do stay tuned and never go anywhere. Bring out your pen and paper. Let's get you sanitized of the fear that makes you think you too cannot do better in mathematics than anyone. See you soon.